Hi guys, this is James Siakam. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the Toben Series podcast.
Devontae Campbell, man. Yesterday when you and I spoke, it was kind of sunny outside. Now it's looking at kind of sunny, kind of gloomy. I'm not really too sure. How are you feeling about this bipolar Toronto weather?
That's Canada for you, man. That's Canada. But on the bright side, it won't get any worse. It'll only get better.
I hope so. But like you said, we live in Canada, man. We had snow a month ago, so I hope we don't get any more snow.
You're
Hey,
right.
but I want to welcome everybody to the Toben Series podcast. You know, we have another guest with us today, another special guest with us today, former Division I basketball player, former G League basketball player, wow, the brother of Pascal Siakam, but also a great man, a great person, someone that I've actually had a couple conversations with in person, James Siakam. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's a wonderful day and I'm happy to be here, man. I'm super excited to be part of this podcast and let's see how it goes, man.
Let's get it. Like I said to you earlier, I see you with the Fred VanVleet shirt on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's tough. I like that logo.
I gotta represent. This is one of his first shirts out. You know, we started from a long time ago. So, I mean, I just like his motto. I like what he represents. So I always I have a few versions there. It's crazy, man. I just love the thing. I just love it.
Those are tough.
Shout out Fred, man. Shout out Fred. Got to bet on yourself, man. Always bet on yourself.
Always bet on yourself. I think
Most definitely. Hey, but James, we always start the show with the game. So Devontae, what you got for us today, man?
Yeah, James. So we like to get the brain flowing here a little bit before we start off in anything, in any endeavors. In this game, we called overrated or underrated. I'm gonna give you some non-basketball or basketball related topics, and you're simply gonna tell me if it is overrated or underrated. We understand?
All right, yeah, let's go.
All right, perfect. Joakim Noah.
Can I give like a neutral? Is that like a neutral?
You can't give me a neutral. You can't.
Yeah,
Is he a neutral?
he's exactly where he needs to be. Like, you know, he's just, yeah, he's not overrated. He's not underrated. He's kind of like right where he needs to be.
Okay.
In college, he was overrated, but yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
Billy Donovan, that run, that was overrated?
Ooh.
Say it again?
I said when he was at Billy Donovan in Florida, that was overrated?
I think so. I think that people saw a lot that I didn't see at the time, right? Like, I was just like, okay, he can rebound the ball, he can do a bunch of stuff, but I don't think he's not as skilled as people made it sound like. But
Okay.
I think that he's a good person, he's a good player, so like I can't really, you know what I mean? He works hard. Like, he works hard. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about him. Like, he works hard, man.
Okay. If Joakim Noah is neutral, what is Zach Randolph?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Is he
Ooh.
overrated, underrated?
Yo. Man, I would say right now he's definitely he was underrated most of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because, like, these are the type of guys that will give you a double-double. You won't even know.
Yeah,
Like,
very quiet.
It's quiet double-double. He reminds me a lot of, like, he's a little bit like David Lee. I don't know if you remember David Lee.
Ooh.
Of course.
From Golden State. He's one of those guys that would just give you a double-double, quiet, the silent killer. Like, you look at the stat sheet and it's like, wait a minute, when did he get a double-double? Like, it's one of those guys. Zebo just like, he's those type of guys. He was mostly a good vet, like, right? Like, he would just like coach all these kids. He's a good person, like, good heart. He played in Memphis, and I think that he used to come to Vanderbilt over the summer and just like chill with some guys. And I mean, like, the guy's a beast, he's an animal. Mostly underrated his entire career, pretty much. Like, yeah.
Okay, for sure. Now let's switch it up here. Chickens and waffle.
Ooh.
Chickens and waffles.
That combination.
Ooh.
It's good, but it's overrated to me.
It's overrated.
Ooh, we have a hot take.
I agree with him. It wasn't my forte. But let's continue.
Never like chicken and waffle, and then you have that syrup on top of it. To me,
Sure.
it just doesn't. You have to understand that I'm from Cameroon, right? Like, so the
Yeah,
stuff that we eat is not really with sugar. So
gotcha. All right, let's continue. Corn on the cob.
definitely underrated, man.
Definitely underrated.
Yeah.
And last one, we haven't done this one since Josh Collins. Ketchup on rice. There you go.
Should I just hang up there? Should I just hang up right now? Ketchup on rice? Nah, man, nah.
No,
That's a no for me. That's the no for me, dog.
that's a no. That's a no for James, and that concludes overrated, underrated. Thank you very much.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Those are some good answers. You know, so I hate people that put ketchup on everything, man. I don't understand how they put it on everything, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But James, we gotta ask you though, how has 2020/2021, aka the pandemic years, been for you?
Oh man, it's been rough to be honest. It's been super rough, and I think that for everybody it has been. You have people who lost their jobs. We were one of the few blessed to still be able to work during the pandemic, but it's been rough, man. Like I think that in our lifetime we haven't seen anything like that. I think there was a lot of fear, but mostly because people didn't understand what was going on. There was a lot of unknown there, and I think that fueled that fear as well. But man, it's been rough. I think I've seen the worst in myself, during this time. I mean, it's true. Just to be totally transparent here, like I've never had to be up against such strong and tough adversary, right? Like it's man, I don't even know. I don't have the words for it. It's insane. It's insane.
What new hobbies or old ones have you got yourself into during this time?
Ooh, that's good. I started playing video games more. To be honest, I started playing video games more, and not Call of Duty. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. I'm more of a. I don't know if you've played The Last of Us.
Okay.
So yeah, this is game The Last of Us. It's like post-apocalyptic like games, like world where you have to kill a bunch of zombies and things like that. I like that. God of War, like all these fighting games, shooting games, adventure games. I'm all for it. I think I also spend time decorating like my man cave. So I got like an arcade. I don't know if you remember, like the arcade, like Street Fighter, just like from long time ago with the little like man. I'm telling you, I had to go back on that. I ordered a bunch of games. I think for me it was more about getting back in touch with my childhood self, right? Like video games was like the life for me. And I think that as you grow, as you start playing, you travel, you play sometimes, but most of the time you're not really like enjoying it. You're just playing because you're bored or something like that. But yeah, that was that. Those are probably the two. Just so decorating and playing video games. That must be like the ones that I picked up.
I like that. That's different.
I like that one too, actually. He won for one, Devontae. He won for one.
He's going for one.
But James, I gotta ask you though. You mentioned it earlier, saying that this pandemic has been extremely tough on you in particular. But these kids in Canada right now who haven't been able to play AU basketball or travel basketball, or really been able to play any type of basketball for basically 14 months. What's some advice that you would give to kids struggling athletically right now during the pandemic?
I would say that it's temporary, right? I think that for some of these kids too, and then for all the kids really, like when you're young and just time seems to just slow down, right? Like you feel like a year for a kid is like an eternity, right? And you just have to kind of keep in mind that it's temporary. It will pass. Like things will get better, and you just kind of have to keep that positive mindset. There's also other things that you can do for yourself just to better yourself. It doesn't have to be technically just playing basketball because you can't. You can work on your mental. Like being mentally tough could be something that you work on. That's I don't know. Maybe you can go for a run. You can work on your mental health. Like there's other things that are important as well right now although you can't play basketball. I think that those are the things that young kids needs to focus on. They need to focus on that. Personally, I go for runs. I go and run around the neighborhood, trying to avoid people as much as I can. Trying to stay active, pick up new hobbies, like things to distract you. But most importantly, just like, I don't know, you can have a basement, you do your push-ups. I mean, you have to find a way to adapt. Because I think that even for kids that are trying to play, when you go into an AAU team, new AAU team, you don't know anybody. You get there, people just kind of look at you. You kind of like, you don't know anybody. You have to adapt. So you have to find ways to adapt as well. I think that the most adaptable players are always the one that can play on any teams anyway. So you have to find a way to put yourself in a situation where you can be adaptable. So.
No, and that's a very, very good point. Just being adaptable, being versatile, and to be able to really just allow yourself to be open and stuff like that. But it's tough though, because you being my age, you and I are the same age. Devontae's a few years younger than us, but by the way, Devontae, it's his birthday tomorrow. Just wanted to put that out there. It's his birthday tomorrow. But it's James' birthday tomorrow, Devontae. Right? So him and I are the same age and everything. But just when you and I were in high school, what I'm saying, or all four of us were in high school, the idea of being a senior basketball player, getting that fifth year or the grade 12 year or whatever it might be, and to have all those coaches come around and come out and take a look at us and stuff like that, it was so important and so keen for us to be able to really get that confidence and stuff. It's so tough right now, because I coach grade 12s, and all the grade 12s tell me I don't even know if I want to play basketball anymore, because I don't even know if the school is going to have my degree anymore, because so many jobs are being lost as well. It's a very just tough situation for all these kids right now. And honestly, bro, like what you said is right. Be versatile and open up your mind to learn about new things, learn different avenues. But it's tough, man. It's just a whole tough in general.
It is absolutely tough. You're right. For me, let's say even when you get hurt, for example, and you don't get to play, you watch other people play. It's always this, you just can't stand it. It's this feeling where you feel like you're missing on a lot of things. But again, it's something that is temporary. It will pass. You just gotta hold on tight and just kind of do other things except playing basketball. And that's not such a bad thing at the end, right? I'm telling you, if I couldn't play, especially at the time of their life, especially those who are looking to get scholarships and things like that, it looks like wasted years, but I think that they will work around that. You just gotta keep working hard, find a way to work out, because everybody is experiencing the pandemic, right? It's not just those kids, it's every kid. So you have to find a way to be better than the next person in the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
That's really what it is, always a competition. So you got to find a way to just be better. Just find a way, because once you get in front of those coaches, they won't really care that you didn't get a basketball court, right? They won't care about any of that stuff. It's just, here's the basketball, get on the court and perform. Yeah. Just like we require all of our superstars in NBA teams. We don't care if they have a shoulder injury or an ankle injury. When you get back on the court and you clear to play, you need to perform, and that's it. Yeah. That's the end of it.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. I want to ask you though. Obviously, during this pandemic, we're forced to stay inside of our house, which basically forces us to spend more time with our family. What does family mean to you?
Well, first of all, let's just say I did not get to spend time with my family this entire pandemic. Really, I did not. And family for me is everything. Literally everything I do and everything that I am. It's, I live for my family, right? Even when I'm thinking about building my own, it's everything that I do in life. It's for my family.
Yeah.
I will work hard for my family because I know I can make them happy and I can make them proud. And it's always in preparation for the next generation. That's kind of how I think, right? Everything I do now is to prepare for my kids to be set, right? So for me, family is everything. Literally, that is, you've said it all in just one word, right? It's everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Not being able to see them this pandemic, that's why it was tough for me. That's why it's still tough for me, because I don't get to enjoy, just being with them.
And speaking of that too, you know, there was one recent event that went viral. You know, Pascal and your brothers were able to give keys to your mom to, you know, and bought her a new house and everything. Congratulations to all you for that, by the way. That's big time. That was big time. But I want to ask you though, what did that moment mean to you, to all of you? You know, not just to you, but to all of you, to see your mom smiling and happy during that moment.
Man, that is a child like dream. Like that's childhood dream. You see how your parents treat you as you grow up. You see how they gift you on every birthdays. They do everything they can possible for you to be the best possible version of yourself, and to see you grow and be a better man or anything like that. I think that as a kid, you always want to reward your parents. You want to give them a big thank you. Like, and I think that it was that specific event exemplified that, right? Like it was just like, hey mom, thank you for being so great. Thank you for never folding on us. Thank you for always supporting us unwaveringly, right? Like it's always on our corner, always there for us, even when we didn't deserve it, right? So as a kid, you just want to give back. You want to say thank you. And I think that was one of the ways that we were able to do that. Pascal was able to do that. My dad passed away, and my mom was kind of like, it's tough. You live with somebody, you've been married for like 20 plus years or 30 plus years, and you lose that person. And then she found herself just traveling a lot more, not having like a set base. And I think that buying a house like that for her was like, here's your home now. Like you can relax. Like you can relax. You don't have to be everywhere at the same time. You can, but just know that this is home, right? Like you're coming back here. So I think honestly, it meant everything. It meant everything.
And that's great to hear, man. Honestly, like shout out to all you guys for doing that. That was big time for you, And
that was Pascal for sure. That was Pascal. Yeah, man. Like, let's call it like it is. Great dude, man. Great kid. I think that when you start seeing things like that, that's when you understand that, like you raise a good person, you kind of know what to expect. Like I expect you guys, I love your parents. You love your moms. It's like moms is everybody, like it's everything.
Yeah.
I think that is just perfect. That is just perfect.
Regardless if it was Pascal, regardless if it was you, regardless who it was, at the end of the day, it's still unity. So that's the one reason why I kind of put that into there. But shout out to all y'all, man. That's big time. You touched up on it a little bit. You unfortunately you lost your father 7 years ago. Well, coming up in 7 years, 6 and some change. But I want to ask you though, you talked about it from your mom's perspective, but from your perspective and from your brother's perspective, what was it? What did it do mentally to all of you when you lost your father?
Man, I think that it's kind of a feeling that can be shared by a lot of people, right? Like you lose your parents, and it's just like I before that moment, I didn't even think about it, right? Like I think it's one of those things where you see your parent, you grew up with your parent, you just imagine mom and dad would be there till the end. Like there's no time in your mind where you kind of just like sit back and say, what if I ever lost one of my parents, or both? And it just never crosses your mind. And I think that when that happened, we were all like just in shock. We were all like, super sad. I remember the last time I ever spoke to him or I even heard from him, I was in class. It was a night class. When you're in college and you play, you take night classes. And I was in the middle of a test and he was calling. Literally, he was calling in the middle of the text. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to call him back later. So when I was done with my test, it was about 11 p.m. So in Cameroon, it's probably +6. So it was late over there. It was like 4 a.m. or something like that, maybe 5. I was like, okay, I'm just going to call him during the day. During the day, I get the call, bang, he's not there anymore. That's exactly how it happened for me. So for me personally, it affected me in a way that was very tough. Like I could not digest it for a long time. So, and then you on your senior year in college, it's like, what do I do? How do I process this and still have a good season?
Yeah.
And for me, I just didn't. I wasn't able to process it when it happened. I just kind of bottled up your feelings and you kind of just fight it as much as you can. But it was always tough, man. My dad meant everything. Like everything that you see, especially sports-wise, among all of the boys in our family is driven by my dad, right? Like my dad was a big education guy, sports. You could not have a good day in our house if you didn't do well in school, if you didn't get into some athletic thing. Like you had to do those things, and I think that for him it was so important that we stay healthy and that we stay smart. He built us. He built us. So for me, it was devastating. It was devastating.
First of all, that touched me. I think I need a moment, to be honest with you, because I actually was very I'm being serious. I'm speechless. But let's move on. Let's move on to the next question over here. I just don't know what to say, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry that for your loss and everything. And, my condolences and everything. And I hope everybody is okay mentally. But I want to ask you though, can you give us your best moment with your father, or most memorable moment with your father?
Most memorable moment. Man, there's a lot of them. Good and bad. I think that now that I look back, I see a lot of the bad moments that were like super funny now, that it's just like, oh, this is why I don't do this. This is why I don't do this, because he hit me so hard. Like that day, I was like, yep, I'll never do this again. And that's why I don't do this again. And I think that, but seriously, I think one of the time we had this tournament at home in Cameroon, and my dad usually would hear about, like, the last year, I was like 15 maybe. My dad would usually hear about how, oh, your son plays basketball, he's so good, you should come in one of these days. And my dad was like, I don't know, you can't top Boris. Boris is the oldest in our family, right? He was already playing at a high level. People knew him. They knew me as Boris' little brother because he was just like that good in Cameroon, right? And then when he started hearing about me, it was like, I don't take this seriously. And I think one of the days he came in, it was like a finals of this little tournament, and he came in and I just went off, right? Like I just went off. I can't remember how many points I had. It was at least 30, like just going crazy and dunking on people, and he was insane. And this guy just like, and the president of the league was there, and he was just shaking my hand, shaking my dad's hand, and really entertaining my dad. He was like, "The kid is so good. You should think about sending him to the U.S." It's things like that. And my dad was so proud of me, man. And I've never seen a man this proud of me. I think for me, it was the most memorable, time with my dad.
That's special.
Just to see the joy in his heart, how happy he was when we left, and he could just hold me. This is my son, type of deal, man. It was, I can't tell you. It's the one thing that came out of my mind when you asked me that question is just like, yes, that was it.
No, that's fair. We go from tears to smiles, man. We go from tears to smiles. It's always great. It's always great. You touched up on it. You touched up on this, saying that basketball or sports has always been a big thing in your household. From your father to your brother. But I gotta ask you though, and obviously Pascal, being in the NBA right now, would you still give him buckets if you played him one-on-one right now?
Right now?
Right now.
Hell no, not right now. If I could, I don't know, I'd be playing somewhere right now.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, when we were in college, yes, like I would be like, okay, we'll go back and forth, right? Like he was still a first year or whatever, finishing college, first year. We would go back and forth. We would start giving each other buckets. We just trading buckets. But then, man, second year, it's like, it's not the same, man. Dude just turned into somebody else. Third year, it's like, oh, nope. Not happening. Right now, I can't even talk. Like, at first, like when you first got into the league, I could talk trash. Like I could say shit. Like it was like, yeah, man, screw that. That was a weak play. I can say stuff. I can say so. If you don't, okay, come here, play one-on-one. Let's go. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Now I can't even talk like that, man. I can't even talk like that. It's like you're gonna lose every time. Every time you're gonna lose, and I'm just like, man, I'll still talk shit, but still, like, I know in my head, I know, but I just my mouth won't let me just admit it. But in my head, I know. Well, it's crazy, man. The guy is different now. It's for sure. It's different.
I'm not editing this part out, so now we can hear it live.
Yes, sir.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all good.
But you know, we've actually had a few guests on this show that spoken very highly of Pascal. We've had Negas that spoke about Pascal, saying that he actually was his motivator when he was in the G League. Watch him always winning sprints. We also had Negas Webster Chan.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we also had Dwayne Notice, who was on here as well. He spoke about playing with Pascal. And we had somebody recently who was on here. Jalen Penny, who played with him in New Mexico.
Cool. That's Pascal's teammate.
So there you go. So all three of them have spoken very highly of Pascal. Seeing where your brother has come from and seeing the path that he's taken for basketball-wise, how proud of you are as his brother to watch his development?
Man. Man, it's big. Like, I think that sometimes, even if I tell you, you won't actually grasp it, right? Like, it's always like, okay, it's nice what he's saying, but you don't actually get to understand how proud you can be if it's like your sibling, right? I think it's a different feeling. It's just, I've been so proud. Like, I think that one of the things that always made me proud is that that's one of the things that my dad always wanted when he pushed us into sports, especially basketball. He was like, I want one of my kids to be able to play in the NBA. I think that would be my greatest joy. And to see him actually go ahead and do it, where all of his brothers didn't get to, you know what I mean? We tried. Everybody went ahead and tried. And we didn't get to do that. But to see him actually go through and do it and make it a reality, I think to me, like, I've never been proud like of anybody like that. Like, it's man, every time people talk about my brother or like people say nice things about him, it's like, you only saying half of it. Like you only saying half of it, because if you were like part of it and you saw the struggle, I think that's what makes it even better, is because of the struggle leading up to that moment, right? Like, you can see the nights in the gym, you can see the 3 a.m. workouts, 4 a.m. workouts where we're just up and shooting the gym and doing all these things. And he's working with his coaches in school, doing working, man, during the summer, trying hard, like to get better. I think that to see all of those things, all this effort just being rewarded that day, it's just like, man, to me, I'm always so proud. Like, that's why, and I keep telling people, like, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm really not a fan. Like, I'm his brother. Yeah. I'm not a fan. And as his brother, it's like I see things that most people don't see, right? Like, and people kind of just see the act. You see the performance. It's like you come into a show and you see the actors perform. You don't know the nights where they couldn't say a line correctly. They couldn't do any of those stuff. You don't see any of that. But once you see them perform, you like super happy. But the people who work behind the scenes and see the hard work, the failures, and everything else, when they see them succeed, and it's like, oh my God, like, it's mind blowing. So to answer your question simply, like, man, I'm super, super proud. Super, super proud.
I actually want to touch on something you said, because you said that your father wanted you guys all to make the NBA, or at least one of you guys to make the NBA and stuff. So do you think that was kind of like Pascal's blessing from your father to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that he didn't work hard for it or whatever, but, you know, like do you think that there was something that your father had to contribute to that a little bit as well? Absolutely.
I think that it was probably one of his catalysts, right? Like, it was one of the things that motivated him. It was like, you're not here now, but I want to, you know, fulfill that dream because I know you wanted it so bad. And I think that internally, not to say that it was the only thing, but at least it was one of the motivators, right? Like, and I think that my dad guided him, helped him. And I think that all these moments, these sacrifices, all of those things made him not want to quit when it was easier to do so, right? Because every athlete got into that point in their lives where they either decided, you know what, I can't continue on to do this, or I can continue and do this. And just the difference, I guess, is your why. Like, what is your why? And I think for him, my dad was a big why for him. Like, it's a big reason for why he kept going. Yeah, absolutely. My dad guided him. My dad is a big part of why he made it. Yes.
Fair enough. Well, last question I got for you before I'm off your back for a bit. Well, you know, obviously, you know, last summer the NBA had their first ever bubble. At the end of the bubble, Pascal was receiving a ton of hatred mail, a ton of hatred comments. You know, some things that I thought was blasphemy, to be honest with you. And I'm looking at them and say, you guys are retarded and crazy for even saying this in the first place. But for your family and stuff, like First of all, did you receive any hate mail? And second of all, like if you did, what did that do for you mentally and your brothers mentally and your family mentally in general?
I think that, yeah, first of all, yes, I did. And I remember, I think for me personally, it doesn't do anything for me. And what I mean by that is that I don't take it too personally, right? I don't take it too personally. I understand what fans are, right? Like I understand that fans kind of blow with the wind, like they go with the wind. Wherever you play good today, they will swear you to God, you the best thing that happened since sliced bread. Mm-hmm. But if you play bad, they will crucify you. Like it's not even, there's no in between really. I know there are some good fans, and to add to that, after the hate mails, I got like a bunch of like good positive vibe type messages. But I think that for people, and it's always the bad ones, they always like robots. Like, I mean, like fake accounts. Like some guys will like go create a fake account to just talk. And to me, that says a lot more about that person than what the person is actually saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Like, and to me, it's part of the game. It comes with it. It comes with it. It's part of the job. Fame, same thing. You see people who like famous people and they do good things. Even when you do good things, there's always those people that are always behind their computer in their mama's basement, just tick, 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 tick.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, that's what they do. Like,
yeah.
I receive like tons of them. It's crazy. And I'm just like, I wish somebody would say that to my face. Huh.
Keep that same energy in person. You're right.
Yeah, keep that same energy in person. Don't hide, first of all. Don't hide. Keep that same energy. Like, to me, that's all. Like, if somebody said that to me to my face, I might be like, man, okay. Like, I won't even be mad. But the people who hide behind things, I can't do it. I can't take you seriously. I just can't.
And that's fair.
Yeah. That's a fact. I like that. Say that to my face and see if you have the same type of energy.
Yeah.
But now let's translate to Toben basketball, of course. This being a Toben.
I see you representing.
I see. Always represented. Always represented. But, you know, this being a Toben series, you know, what does Toben basketball mean for you?
Toben basketball, man. What does it mean to me? It means a lot. And I'm gonna tell you why. I think Tony is pretty much the only person in Canada that kind of gave me the joy to play basketball again like that, right? I had a career that was like all over the place. And when I got to Canada, there was a bunch of, I played tournaments here and there. And once I got to Toben, man, I think that the team atmosphere, like the coaches, it was just different, man. It was different. Tony, super nice guy. Just kind of made me feel comfortable. Like I'll play here and there, just play one time and just never even want to go play there type of deal. But once I started playing with Tony, it was just a different atmosphere. The guys that he brought around, they were guys of high caliber, right? Like good players. Like they're not just like chumps that getting after. I can't even speak to those people. Like I can't.
I got you.
But yeah, like just playing with Toben was just different, man. Different. Good players from all over the places. And I think for me, it meant more to just be around good basketball players than just join a team just for the sake of joining a team. And I think I found that with Toben, just being able to compete at a higher level.
Now, I totally agree with you. Now, how did you personally meet Coach Toben?
Oh, Tony. Okay. I think I was, again, when I first got to Canada, I think I was playing on different teams. Like I played Mississauga Hoops for a little bit, like that little league. I played in some tournaments all over the place. But then my friend, Denny, I don't know if you got to know Denny.
Danny McDonald. And that's my guy. We played on the same team for AU for a minute. That's my guy.
Denny, fun fact, Denny and I went to high school together. Wow. Denny not in the States. We went to high school together in the States. So when I got to Canada, obviously connected with Denny, and he was like, oh man, I have my friend here. He's a coach here, blah, blah. Let's go and let's come play with us. Come play with us. And I think through Denny, I met Tony. And that's that was Denny.
Now, throughout the years of Toben,
Mhm.
which Toben players did you enjoy playing with the most? Start to hit you with some quick hitters here.
Ooh, I see. Okay, so it's kind of tough. It's a tough question, I guess, because Toben has always been the type of team that is always fluid. There's always different play. Literally, I've never been on a team where I go play a tournament with a bunch of guys. The next time I turn around, it's total team, a different team.
Facts.
We have like a lot of players coming in and out. That's kind of how that's why I like Toben, because we just like attract the good players. We attract the best players in the leagues, and that's how we were able to be successful. But out of my regular, and that's not to offend anybody, obviously, like it doesn't mean that they're not good basketball players if you're not part of those people. It just means that out of the regular, the people that I saw and chilled with constantly and played with, there was a few. I want to thank Josh.
James, okay. If you think they suck, they suck.
No. I mean, like,
let the man answer.
The thing is though, like you cannot be on Toben if you're not at least a little bit good. Like that's what I'm saying. That was my point, I guess. Like we got to be a little bit good. So I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I would say Josh Collins, Dingill, D Walker for sure. Who else? And this is just my regulars. Jameer. What else I can think of? I want to say Manny.
Manny?
Yeah.
Oh, E-Man.
E-Man, yeah.
E-Man.
I just say Manny because he's Emmanuel. And what's his name? Kofi. Jam.
Okay.
Jamke. Yeah, Kofi. Those are the regular. Like those are the things when Braden's
been a favorite.
Yeah, he's been Braden. Those are the guys that whichever tournament we are in, these are the 5 guys or 6 guys that are always around.
Yeah.
5, 6 guys are always around. They're always playing together. So those are the guys that I like to play with for sure.
Now, with that being said, if you're on the court with 5 seconds left, which Toben players would you like to be on the court with? Are those the same players?
Okay, where are we playing right now? Where are we playing? Are we in Halifax?
Oh, so where are we playing? We'll put you in Halifax. Yeah,
okay, cool. I'm in Halifax. There's about 15K on the table. Okay, let's talk. I still want Josh for sure at the guard. I know he's cash. Like he's water when he matters. Like he's woo.
That's what we hear through the grapevine.
Man, no. I'm telling
Legend.
you. He's clutch now. He's clutch. For sure. I'd go to battle for him. Dingill, for sure, no questions. Oh, niggas was actually nice too.
Yep,
niggas was in that. Niggas was dead. Who else we play with? Who else was there?
One more. So it's you, Josh Collins, Dingill, and Negus on the court. You got one more.
I need Denny. I put Denny in there. Denny bowled it up though. He's bowling it up. I know. I take Denny. Because I like guys that work hard, and Denny's like one of the bro.
For sure.
He goes hard. Like I love it.
For sure. Now, give me your last quick hitter. Give me your most memorable Toben moment.
Man, it's Halifax, bro.
It seems like Halifax is the common trend. What I like it. What do you mean? I like it. Okay. Great location. You get money, so I understand.
And I think that's because a lot of the time we were like the people, like everybody wanted to beat us, and I think it made it even more sweeter because everybody was like eyes on Toben. We're gonna get them. The ref we were playing even against the refs. So I think that for me, it brought me back in a lot of ways to like that college energy, that college atmosphere, where you just have like the fans just like booing you because every year you go over there and rack it up, right? And then every time you get there, they always put teams are literally built around beating us, right? Like they built to beat us and they just don't. And I think for me, just like it makes it even sweeter We've had some great tournaments that we won with Toben, like the On Point,
Yeah.
But I think it was always a different energy. I never felt like it was like that in Halifax. I just never felt that same energy. It was packed too. Like
We hear that through the grapevine as well, man. That atmosphere is one of a kind.
yeah.
Now, let me ask you, man, James, let's talk about university a little bit. You signed to Vanderbilt. Why'd you choose Vanderbilt?
It was a lot of factors. Vanderbilt was not in my they were not the only team or the only college team that was after me, I guess. I had like tons of college teams. I had like Florida, I had UConn, I had what other team? Tennessee, I had Butler. Man, I had the type where
That's a great list.
Yeah, I had so many scholarships offers to the point where there was a time where I was just hiding, bro. Like I wouldn't pick up the phone. Like I would just no, I can't do this. Like I had to give my coach, it's like, dude, just deal with this. I can't.
It's a great place to be.
Illinois, University of U of I, University of Illinois. It was like crazy. Then my senior year or my junior year in high school, which I actually did graduate a year early, but my junior year in high school, I got hurt really badly. So I was actually playing against, I don't know if you remember Quincy Miller.
Of course. Yep. Every Canadian knows Quincy Miller.
Yeah, Quincy Miller. I was playing against Quincy Miller's team, the Pharaoh. I can't remember his high school.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina Pharaohs. They were there, and there's this guy. The guy that actually hurt me. He played at VCU. I think I want to say he went to VCU afterwards. One of my teammates bounced the ball to me, and I think somebody tipped it. My motto in high school was like, man, I take this, I bring wherever it's with me to the rim, and I just dunk it on. Like that's kind of how I did it. So when he bounced the ball to me, I went down to grab it, but because it was deflected, the ball kind of was on the floor for too long. And the guy anticipated that I was going for a dunk, and he would just jump knee first, my head going down, knee first. Man, just cracked my whole face.
Damn.
I didn't notice that it was that bad. I kept playing. We end up losing this game, and I'm on the sideline just looking at the team like, man, this is bad. And I just started bleeding, just gushing blood. And I'm like, all right, cool. This something is wrong. I go to the emergency room real quick. I get over there. They kind of looked at me. I'm like, it's not that bad. Stop bleeding, right? It's not that bad. You can go home. As I'm going out, I see a nurse that just looks at me. It's like, something's not right. Come back here. She's just do an X-ray. I know you can't do the MRI or anything. Just do an X-ray just to make sure, just to be sure. Sure enough, she looks at the X-ray. My whole face, eye socket just rotated completely, right? It started breaking. I have plates in my face right now. You can't see it. They did a good job. They probably fixed a little bit of my face too. But yeah, I had plates in my head put because of how bad the injury was.
Damn.
And they said that if I didn't have that surgery, my eye would have sunk in to my head, essentially. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. It was terrible. Oh. So when you hear that, it was out, teams kind of just whoop, whoop. Everybody kind of just
opted out.
I told you again, I had so many offers, and then after they heard I was hurt, it was not even a single concourse. And Vanderbilt was one of these only teams that were, still just in contact with me. They were kind of just talking to me just through the process of recovering and just being there for me. And they have ever since they started having interest in me, right? And so I had built some sort of friendship with the recruiter at the time. His name, Dan Miller. He's now the head coach for Illinois State. He's the head coach now at Illinois State, but he was an assistant then recruiter, and he just kind of recruited me and was just just talking, come in and chill with me and just go type of deal. And then one time I had my surgery, everything went well, amazingly well.
That's good to hear.
Said, you know what, you might actually have a chance.
Okay.
So as soon as they heard that the word was out, everybody coming back, oh, James, oh, man, how you doing, bro? Oh, I heard you got hurt, man. How is it? Like, everybody just coming at me. I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore, man. I'm interested, but I don't want to talk to you. So it made actually the decision easy for me. Mm-hmm. It made it easy because I wanted to go to a place where people actually care about me. Right?
Loyalty is key. Loyalty is key.
Man, loyal to me, they care about me, and they care about my well-being before anything else. Right. Actually, it's tough when you get into the business of basketball. It's tough to care about somebody's well-being because really you also have to eat, right? Yeah. So I understood what they did, but to me, it was like, I reward the people that are loyal to me. I'm not going to do that and then go somewhere else. I'm sorry. Like, to me, this is it. So I went to Vandy against my coach's advice because he thought like it wasn't a good fit for me, though I was, I felt the way I felt about the school. In retrospect, I'm thinking, maybe you were right because the playing style was just not mine, right? Like it was too different. It was too structured. And I played basketball when I was like 15. That's when I started playing. I didn't have that kind of structure. So when you say, oh, X here, go there, set the screen here, go over there, slip, go over there and do whatever it is, to me, it doesn't compute the same. Yeah. You guys probably been playing basketball for a long time since you were kids, grew up playing basketball. For us, it wasn't like that. I played soccer. So for me, it was just kind of a different sport to switch up to. And I just didn't have those fundamentals. So for me, it was a bit tough. But I went to Vandy because of that, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Loyalty is key. Now we're going to dive a little bit more into Vanderbilt. Real quick, you did redshirt your first year. Was there any reasoning behind that?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of, and again, as an African player, I think that the misconception, or at least the things that most people don't understand, is that we have different experiences coming to the U.S., playing basketball. And I'm not talking about Canadian coming to the U.S. Canada and the U.S. have very similar, to me, it's very similar in terms of even immigration laws, right? For me, coming from Africa, it's way different. Different animal. They don't look at us like, you can just come here and play. Like that's it. It's like, nah. It's like a whole different thing. So I kind of forgot a little bit your question, but you were trying to.
Yeah, simply, was there any big reason why you decided to red shirt? It doesn't have to be nothing too big. Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, when I came to the US, I didn't have the school that I was in first. I decided to leave that school, and they weren't happy about it. So they held my documents. So I went to a different school, and I was in trouble because I'm like, I didn't know. As a 15-year-old, you don't know immigration laws. You're just like, yeah the court said I'm good, so I'm good. They held my documents. I didn't know. So when I was trying to go to college, that's when they realized that they hadn't released those documents. Okay. I was going to school and do everything perfectly, but they hadn't released my documents. So they had to literally threaten my first school to get it done so I can qualify to play.
For sure.
Right? So within that time frame, I was just like, and you know what? I graduated high school a year early. I can learn. I don't mind learning. So I just took that year off to pretty much learn. But mostly at first it was because of immigration challenges, I guess you could say.
Hey, man, you live and you learn. You got it at the end of the day. Now let's dive into, some of the things you went through in Vanderbilt. The first year, you got to play. You won your conference championship. What did that mean to win at your first year? Because a lot of guys don't get that throughout their
Hey, man, it was nice. To be honest, I think it was the first time the school had won in a very long time. I want to say 1980, 82 maybe. I can't remember. At the time, it was 1982, I think. But it had been a long time that the school had won anything. So it was, for us, it was huge. It was huge. I think we went on to celebrate for weeks, man. It was one of those things you went on to celebrate for weeks. But then quick turnaround, NCAA, you can't really You know, like it was a bit different. But yeah, that's a different story.
Okay.
Look that
Now,
up.
you mentioned before Ezeli being your 5-man. You know, who was your vet at Vanderbilt? Was it him?
Yes, definitely. Like it was him. Actually, let me just say, I hated the idea of vets when I first got to college. Hated it. And the reason is because I've always been on my own. What I mean is that, from early on age, like I went to boarding schools. I had to fight for myself in every way possible. I came to the US, I was in a boarding school. I went to university, which is kind of like another boarding school because I don't have family just coming in and chilling with me or anything like that. It's just like I'm by myself, right? Since I was literally 15, just by myself doing my own thing. And to go to college and you say, you know how they treat freshmen, go pick up the balls, they carry the bags and all that. Man, I'm telling you, it was the death of me.
It was tough. Okay.
I hated that so bad. So I would get in fights. I would not do it. So for me to call somebody a vet was like, who are you, bro? It was like I wouldn't say I'm a vet, but if I had to now, I would say like looking at how things were then, I would say like first Ezeli was one of the vets that I was just like with me because he was African. African guys from Nigeria. And I also had Steve Changang. He was another Cameroonian guy, big brother. I knew his younger brother from home, from Cameroon. We played like kind of a little bit together. So I knew him then. So they were the two African guys that I would say were my vets, even though it wasn't really the case. I just couldn't deal with that, man. I just couldn't deal with that. Yeah. So that's that.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you about 30, 40 seconds to answer these next series of questions. All right. I'm going to time you on this. Now, out of the 5 years that you were there, who would your top 5 players be that you played with and you could put yourself in there? I'll start the timer once you start talking.
Question.
Go ahead.
Are we talking post, after winning the championship or before winning the championship?
All five.
All 5 years. Just all 5 years.
Yeah. I want to give you some variety.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So I have point guard, I want to say Wade Baldwin. Shooting guard, I want to say John Jenkins. Man, Riley.
Yes.
John Jenkins. Small forward, Jeff Taylor. Power forward, I won't include myself in this. I won't include myself. Power forward, Lance Goulburn, and center, Festus Ezeli.
That's a great start. That's a great 5 right there. That was a great 5. I forgot Jenkins went there. Now,
John Jenkins.
that guy was on fire.
I've never seen anything like that. Guy is legit, man. Legit. Like,
now let me switch it up a little bit here for you. If you went to play a game at the Record Park with 4 of your teammates that you had in those 5 years, would they stay the same? That starting 5 that you just gave me, or would you add somebody else? Because now we're talking about Record Park, and that's a different type of basketball over there. So do those teammates change for you?
Well, yeah, automatically, because he's going to be in the lineup now.
Yeah, I want to be in the lineup now.
Okay. Facts.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go with the younger guys now. I'm just going to go Riley LaChance as a guard and shooting guard. Actually, Wade Baldwin, Riley LaChance, Jeff Roberson, Damian Jones, and me as well.
Okay, that's fair. Now, last question about the NCAA. Were you satisfied with it? SEC guys won in the tournament. Were you satisfied with your university playing career?
I was very satisfied, but not because of that.
Okay. Yeah,
because at first I think that when you go into a team, you have the vets, like you said, the vets. The guy that I named, the guy that I'm like, man, they're so good. Like, they play most of the minutes. And for kids obviously watching this, you have to know that the college that you go to, the roster might allow for 12, 13 guys, or I can't remember the number. I think it's 12, around 12. They only have a roster of 7, maybe 8 that are actually playing.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets a minute and two here and there, but the rest play like heavy minutes. And that's kind of how it was. I did not play heavy minutes. So for me, although we won and it was great for our team, we were part of the success, obviously. For me, my playing career didn't start to be enjoyable until after they left. Right. So I would say my last 2 years, for example, my college career were the best years I've played, like the best years of my career. So I was able to still enjoy my career because of those 2 years and not so much of the previous years.
As we come to a conclusion of our show, first I'm going to hit you with some quick hitters again. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds for these because these ones shouldn't be long. I don't want you to elaborate. I want what first comes to mind, and then we're going to get into our game of called Perfect World. But first, let's start off with singer or dancer.
Dancer.
Okay. Cats or dogs?
Not dance before I sing, for sure.
Cats or dogs?
Yikes. Where are we? Are we in Canada? I would say cats.
Okay, I'm a cat guy too. Unfortunately, I'm allergic, so that can't happen.
I don't like either of them really. Like I like dogs, really. If I had to pick, I would say dogs. But here, when it's winter, I don't want to be outside walking a dog.
You're right. You can leave cats by themselves. You're right.
That's what I'm saying. Are we in Canada? Like if you're in Canada, I'll have a cat because a cat, you can stay home, right? You don't have to
Steven, he's thinking. I like it.
Out. But yeah, and then you can even sometimes leave for like 2 or 3 days, depending on how you accustom your cat. Like my wife has a cat. Like I have a cat because my wife has a cat, and it's just like no.
Okay.
I can't stand the cat.
If you could have a conversation with anyone in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
Without a doubt, without a second, I would say my dad for sure.
Okay. Without it being a family member. So I'm gonna give you another one. Without a family member, who would it be?
I can't hear you. Sorry.
You can't hear me?
No. Hello?
Steven, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you now. Sorry.
Okay. No, okay. Now I was gonna say for the same question, you don't know them on a personal note, so who would it be?
I would say, I thought about that.
Quick hitter. 10 seconds.
Vince Carter. I don't know. Vince Carter?
Okay.
Vince Carter. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. And then, to conclude, if you could change one thing about your career and it was a long, interesting one, what would it be?
Immigration.
Hey, you know what? That's not. You want to elaborate on that just a little bit? What you mean by that?
I would say immigration because I feel like in my career, immigration has held me back more than basketball itself. Yeah, and again, like I was trying to make the distinction here between like North American players and African players coming to play in North America and anywhere else. Like I've had like offers to play places, Japan was one of them, lined up and everything, but I couldn't do because of immigration. It was too late. It took too long. For an African player, I have to get a visa to get almost in every country but 30.
Yeah.
So that whole process, the team is like, hey, James, what are you doing right now? It's like, no, I'm good. I'm still practicing or whatever. Like, can you come next week to France and play? It's like, okay, sure. An appointment in the embassy in like you at least need 2 weeks to get an appointment at the embassy.
Wow.
You can apply. You have to fill out paperwork. You have to apply for a visa. And then it's like, by the time you're done with the process, it's been a month. You can't go. They're not waiting for you for a month. I've had that's me just being generous or at least eliminating the small offers. I had at least 7 offers that I couldn't make it to. And even if you look at, I played for Wisconsin Herds, I wasn't even able to make it to the camp, like to the training camp.
Oh, wow. Because
of immigration. So to me, if I had to change one thing about my career, like immigration.
No, that thank you for that, because the way you just described that, I'd say the same damn thing. And with that being said, we're gonna leave it at that. We are gonna leave it at that. Steven, I'm gonna put it on you.
Hey, James,
Yes.
Pause, Devontae. But James.
Oh, that's 2 days in a row, Steven. Goddamn it! You make sure you take this spiel out and send it to me. You're getting ridiculous. Getting ridiculous.
But James, we'd like to conclude the show by asking all of our guests this one last question before we go. Sorry.
Ridiculous.
That was good. That was funny.
But let me ask this one.
Said it too.
Let me ask this one again. We asked all of our guests this question to conclude the show. But who is someone, if you were to subscribe to Talk Your Exposure, and you're looking at Talk Your Exposure on Spotify, and you see that blue little dot next to Talk Your Exposure, who is someone that you'd like to see on Talk Your Exposure? But here's the kicker, though. You got to help us get them on the show.
Ooh. Ay. That is an interesting question.
Excluding Toben guys, as we have them all lined up already.
Yes, sir.
Okay, damn.
Putting you on the spot. Sorry, we got you in the 2-3 trapping zone right now.
I can't be my family members either because, well, it can be, but I can't get. Nah, you won't do it. You won't do it. He's not the type. You know exactly what I'm thinking about, but yeah, you won't do it. I already know you won't. I'm trying to think.
Well, possibly your college vet.
My college vet. You know what? Ooh. I can try. I would say Festus is really. I can try that one.
I thought, he's not in the NBA right now. He doesn't really have much to hold back on. So, he might actually have a lot of good stories to talk about as well.
Yeah, he is a guy, I don't know if you follow him or anything like that. He's been through a lot. He got a hell of a story to tell. That's for sure. He's been through, the hardship. When you talk about hardship, as far as being a basketball player in general, man, he's had it tough. Tough. Can't really imagine. I don't understand why he's so resilient. He's a hell of a guy, a hell of a story to tell. And I think that I would say that's the person I would want to see. I want to see on this show.
We would like to talk to him, so hopefully we can make that work. Hopefully we can get that to work. But hey, James, we want to know where can we find? Wow, here I go.
Go for it.
Where can we find you on social media?
Ooh, Instagram mostly. I want to say my handle, it's Bamba35, I think, _.
Okay.
About 35 _. I think that's it. I don't know, to be honest.
I'm gonna give you a follow today. Hopefully I get that follow back. But
Hey, say it again, sorry.
I said I'm gonna follow you today on Instagram. Hopefully I get that follow back.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to tell me because I don't just go in there and start looking. You have to tell me. I follow because I don't. I'm not the best social media guy, I guess you could say.
I got you.
I'm terrible. I'm super terrible.
I got you. But hey, this is another edition of the Toben Podcast. Make sure you guys go and hit that subscribe button on anywhere you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever it might be. Go check out this episode. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow, whatever it is that people need to do to be able to see these episodes. But one more time, James, we want to say thank you for taking some time to talk to us today. We want to wish you nothing but safety, nothing but good health. And we wish you we hope to see you back on the court sometime soon with Toben. Good luck to your brother down the line. Hopefully he gets they all get their ass out of Florida soon and come back to Canada because we missed them in Toronto. So
yes, we do.
But yeah, one more time, James, thank you for your time today, man.
Thanks for having me, man.